Welcome once again to Gene Ho, and he's been slaving over a hot pond again this weekend. Are you recovered now?
I am much recovered over. I started liking these weekends. I used to never be like that. I used to work all the weekends, but started to enjoy it.
Yeah, a lot of talk at the moment that maybe if we get time, we'll come on to about 4-day weeks and 5-day weeks everywhere in the Western world.
I don't think I. You know what? I'm the type of person. Even if I do anything, I like to work anyway. So to me, it wouldn't matter at all.
No.
I Yeah, I like working.
Okay, there you go. Um, Lots has happened in the States. And the Clarity Act that we talked about last week actually looks as though it came unstuck, or has it been delayed?
Well, it's not stopped. It's definitely delayed. Senator Thune, who holds the gavel to bring it out there, he did not choose to have a vote. And a lot of times when they say they don't have a vote, maybe they don't want to rush it or they know that they're not going to pass it. In this case, probably they weren't going to pass it. However, they go on vacation. They call it a recess. And the best part about it is after the recess, because they had this, they have more time between them to iron out the rough spots, so to speak. So hopefully, especially if you're a crypto holder, when they come back in session, but still, it's still still a lot of stuff to do. Because most likely in the United States, once the Senate approves it with changes, it bounces back to the House. They have to agree to the same thing. The president's going to sign it, but once they fix it up, it's going to go back to the House. So it's still a process, hopefully by the end of the year, but we'll see.
Well, John Thune has delayed this till September. Now, is there deals to be done? You've got what, 54 Republican senators. You need you need seven more, don't you, to avoid a filibuster from the
Yeah,
Democrats?
it's this whole thing, it amounts to for the most part, some of the Republicans are all aboard. They're holdouts. I think Josh Hawley is a holdout. He's a Republican. Uh, but this is what politics is about. This break that they have, their assistants will come in earlier than the senators, and they will hash out a lot of this. They will go to the assistants of the other senators that say no, and it's let's make a deal time. I mean, this is American politics front and center, and they're
It's
going to make
like,
deals.
yeah, it's like a second layer of democracy, I suppose, to get little points that are important, but they would not get through in another way.
Exactly. This is how American politics works. You have some that are absolutely no's, but the ones that you are trying to look for is the one that says but, no, but, and then you have to find out what that is. And it's let's make a deal time. It's nothing more than that. So looks like no one knows exactly how it's going to work out, but we'll find it very difficult to believe it's not going to be approved in some form or another. It's just too important for America.
Yeah, we have a filibuster type thing in the UK, but it's not like the American one. I mean, you can go on forever, can't you?
Yeah, well, that's the thing with 60-40. The Senate is very strong like that. It makes all the senators very powerful. The Senate, or what we call the upper chamber, is a very strong and powerful entity. And, you also have the other problem too with two senators that are not going to be here in the next session. We're talking about Cornyn, who got voted out, and there's one more I can't think of off the top of my head, but they even in there they still call shots while they're still there.
We've got Todd Blanche at last, although he's been acting as Attorney General for quite a while, but he's just scraped him by one vote. Did he not make a good job of the position?
No. Here is the difference between Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche doesn't play. He was the one that staunchly defended Donald Trump as his personal attorney in New York. He's just a no nonsense type of guy. He's this you want to talk let's make a deal time? This guy is not let's make a deal. He's very straightforward, and he is one of those attorney generals that many people actually fear because he will get things done. He's a different breed altogether. So it was very close. I think it was 50 to 49 with only McConnell not voting there, and there was a couple of non-votes on the Republican side, I believe. But this guy is no nonsense, and I think it's good for America, and it's good for Donald Trump. He's a tough DA.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, FBI depends on so much of this.
I believe the Attorney General, he is the umbrella boss of all of these intel agencies, I believe. So he's even over FBI, and it's a big assignment here. But already we've seen with him while he was working with Donald Trump as his personal lawyer, he's very no nonsense. I mean, I think this is what America needs at this point. I love Pam Bondi, but this is a different type of person, and he is not one to play games. And I think it's very good for America, and it's perfect for this time. And he's official now, so it's wonderful for Donald Trump.
Yeah, moving on to technology. America have always been leaders in this. And you've won the race of about 6G. Now, we all know 4G and 5G. Some of us even remember 3G. But is it such a big leap between
Yes.
5 and 6?
Yes, this one is the biggest one of all. If you think about, how can I say this? If people know about different programs, like let's say Microsoft Windows, some of these skips are not much different. This skip from 5G to 6G is tremendous. It will allow certain things such as hologram technology. It will allow such things as using smart technology to basically protect your home, that the technology can see through walls to see if there's someone hiding in your house. This technology is probably the biggest leap of them all, because if you ask me what's the difference between 4G and 5G, all I can say is maybe it's a little faster. But the jump from 5G to 6G is when the technology uh, turns to a different level. And Rodney, you have to remember, AI is involved in this now. When you combine it with that, it is a big technology leap.
I know with 5G, there's a lot of worry about the fact that you had to be line of sight. It was very quick compared with 4G, but obviously, if it can get through walls now, 6G is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, the early on when 5G came out, there was I would just say a propaganda campaign against 5G. They were saying that all the towers, because they were new and different, would somehow hurt people. Did not seem to be the case in that way. But one of the things, and everyone mostly has 5G now. If you're in your house and not near a window, it just doesn't make itself through. Sometimes I have to, if I need to use it, have to point it out towards the window near town. So, but it was faster. But 6G is going to be a big leap. Is not only the towers, it's going to be the same towers with upgrades to them, but also low orbit satellites working in conjunction with that. So it's going to be a lot faster. I believe they even said zero latency. So it's almost instantaneous.
But as long as it doesn't fry you, that's always the worry, isn't it?
Right. Well, I mean, I see that, and for the most part, we were taught to fear technology. And in the past, Rodney, in the United States, when it came to semiconductors, these chips, the whole industry moved to other places, including Taiwan, because when people either propaganda or fear, they put it into people, they don't like it near them, their homes, and then the whole industry shifted over. Donald Trump is making sure that this does not go this way when it comes to AI, the data centers, and 6G, which will be good for America to be, and we are the leader in technology right now.
Yeah. The other thing that's important on the technological front is mini reactors. Now, Rolls-Royce in the United Kingdom have developed small reactors. They don't need 10, 15 years to get constructed. But it's at a much smaller levels that can be helpful for outposts in the military, for instance. Now you can have one of these reactors that is the size of a container on a container ship. So that's pretty small, and it can be taken anywhere. And apparently it's particularly safe. It doesn't contain the high power uranium.
Well, I believe it does, but it's contained. So, but when I grew up, we had, if you remember, 3 Mile Island, which was a great
Yeah.
fear because the nuclear reactor burned down, and then people were like, okay, well, are we going to get cancer because it leaked? The new technology is that they made these nuclear reactors into little seeds. They're about the size of a poppy seed, but I don't know how they make it, by the way. It's contained, and the nuclear reaction is in there, and it's a fuel. But it's supposedly 100% safe. The military, as you know, uses about the size of a minivan, and they parachute it out of the airplanes, and they can set up electricity, cheap electricity almost anywhere, self-contained. So this is part of, by the time this rolls out into the United States, might be 2029 or 30. Already next year, 27, 28 is going to start to go into the data centers before we're going to start to see, quite frankly, cheap electricity in America because of these nuclear reactors.
We look over the pond with envy, not just the UK, because we lead technology in many ways, but it's getting through health and safety and other laws. It would never get anywhere near 2029. It'll be more like
Well,
2039.
this is how the United States have done this. The nuclear reactors was built by the United States military and the Department of Energy. So they took all the risks that would almost be impossible for a company to do because they had to get this permit, that permit to do this. The Department of Energy combined with the Department of Defense work to create this. And then what they do in turn is they give it to United States companies and lease out the technology or license the technology for them to make it. But this was done in America by the United States government taking all the risks. So they didn't have to worry about permitting, whatever. They could just do it all. And they're actually giving it, per se, giving it to the American companies to mass produce it. It works. Donald Trump had something to do with this. He greenlit one of the projects, but it's fantastic stuff going on.
Yeah, and the main thing here at a commercial level, maybe, is for shipping. There are vessels, icebreakers, for instance, for years, submarines that have mini nuclear fuel cells and engines, and it can be developed for anywhere. Now, the thing is that most seaborne ships have got a high sulfur-based engine. Sulfur is horrible. It's the sludge of any oil barrel. It's right at the bottom, and it poisons people literally. And to get rid of those engines and put something clean in there is a big advance.
Yeah, I forgot what kind of fuel they call this, but it's the nuclear fuel. They look like little seeds, very, very tiny. Like I said, it's a marvelous invention, but how they did this so that it doesn't overheat and then there's no spillage
Well,
because
that's right. They use
yeah,
helium for cooling rather than the conventional water. And there again,
right.
that's another safety feature. It's almost impossible for them to blow.
Yeah, so this is this is what's going on in America right now, and there's a lot of good things. And part of it, the project was called Project Pele. That's what Donald Trump approved of in the first administration. So it's already from the first administration till this administration, even skipping one. that we're finally starting to see these things come into fruition.
Yeah, that's nice to see somebody looking for ahead in politics for a change. There you go. Listen, we've got to end, but something's come up that certainly is of interest in the UK, and that's apparently in the US. There are 2,000 schools now on a 4-day week. Now, yeah, that's all right. The kids have to work longer for the during that time, and some of the days are a bit longer, which is a bit tough for the younger children. But the unions seem to be behind this, and they've come in. They're not slow behind that proverbial door. They said, "Okay, we'll do it, but we want minimum wage of $45,000. We want this, that, and the other." And then the parents have come along and said, "Oh, hang on a minute, we'll have to find an extra day, an extra nursery places because we want to go out to work 5 days a week." It could be a big deal if it takes off, Gene.
Right now in the United States, they have been experimenting with this school thing for a long time. When I was growing up, it was the same thing all the time. The normal schedule, the summers off. Now some schools in the United States have gone to I believe like an 8-week cycles, and then they off a week. It's bizarre what they're doing, but I guess they're always looking for the perfect zen, so to speak, of what the school day is. However, I will say this, Rodney, in the United States, there is a big movement towards homeschooling.
Yeah.
And my children have both went to public, private, and homeschool, all three. And I have to say that homeschool done right is the best one.
In the UK, there's a lot of worry about, especially around the sex education and the ultra left-wing teaching. It's not ambivalent. You can't go in there and give 2 points of view. It's got to be far left indoctrination. We're coming across this the whole time.
Yeah, probably not as much as the UK, but here in the United States, there's always a push and shove between the right and the left. But I believe that is what spawned a lot of this stuff with homeschooling and private schooling. I know where I used to live, the private schools started to boom, especially during the COVID era when there was too much restrictions placed. Many people went to private school and it was very expensive. Quite frankly, it's too expensive. But nowadays, people are looking into homeschooling because of that fact right there.
But you have to be trained or have, I don't know, as a
Oh no,
parent.
each state governs it themselves. Some states require the children to have certain testings. Some states require them to use certain books as homeschooled. But each state is different with that. That's the big twist in America that that each state could determine for themselves.
Is there any inspection by the authorities about homeschooling?
Most states do. Even in where I live in Arkansas, they have you basically have to sign them up for homeschooling. Some of them, if depending on how much, some of them you get state money to do it, and if you get state money to do it, there is a test, year-end testing to make sure that the parents are doing well, which is, homeschooling. I hate to say this, is going to be as good as a parent, just like as with that. So it all depends, but done right, done correctly, it's a very good thing.
There you go. Covered a lot of subjects. Thank you
Yeah.
again so much. We'll
Thank
let
you.
you get back to the pole and the fish. Thanks,
All right.
Gene.
Thank you so much, Rodney.